Whoa, I can't believe it. It's been 25 years since Princess Mononoke debuted. I couldn't believe this was a historically epic fantasy film that I enjoyed, which was writtenly directed by Hayao Miyazaki and animated by Studio Ghibli for Tokuba Shoten, Nippon Television Network, and Dentsu. As I know, this movie is a much better example of what I enjoyed this movie over Tomorrow Never Dies. Although I found it Tomorrow Never Dies a bit too confusing, because the whole idea of a fake news plot twist didn't make sense for a secret agent to tackle fake news. But this one, which stars the voices in this Japanese version, Yoji Matsuda, Yuriko Ishida, Yuko Tanaka, Kaoru Kobayashi, Masahiko Nishimura, Tsunehiko Kabujo, Akira Miwa, Mitsuko Mori, and Hisaya Moshige. Even though it takes place approximately around 1336 to 1573 CE in the Muromachi period of Japan, which includes environmental elements with fantasy elements. Even though Emishi Prince Ashitaka gets involved in a struggle between the gods of a forest and the humans who consume its resources, a la Captain Planet. But the term Mononoke is the name, but a word for the supernatural shape-shifting monsters that possess humans and cause the sufferings of a deathly disease. Although this movie predates Osmosis Jones by a landslide, this is sort of like a better movie than this movie could do a better job than what mostly that darn cat could do. But the plot, although it is kind of complicated, as it dealt with how the young woman San, who was raised by wolves, had a hatred towards humans and a plan to the apes. And this whole idea, this entire idea, is that when Miyazaki drew sketches of a concept about a princess living in woods with beasts, sort of like a game-changing concept. From that concept, it was used for storybooks from 1994 all the way to 1995. From a concept inspired by Shiratani Unsui Forest from Yakushima, it just dealt with the environment of what this movie dealt with. When it comes to studying the mountain that embodies the evils of, super radiation-powered deforestation, what comes to this movie, it's about the realisms of individualism and conformity. Although it's sort of like this movie would inspire Batman Begins, it's probably like I enjoyed the animation being used for hand-painted cells, and it won. How many awards did it won? It won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 awards for Japan. Even though it was nominated for the Annie Awards, despite losing to Hercules. Speaking of this, for specifically, the soundtrack is amazing. Like Die Another Day's soundtrack, of course. And to the likes of Chicken Run and Waltz and Grover to the Cousin of Web, I'd probably going to give this movie just a solidly decent 7.9 out of 10. Yeah, I'd probably like this movie to enjoy with. But that's kind of amazing. Like the special effects and the way the characters battle each other is kind of awesome. It's not like what you see in 300 or Lord of the Rings, which is kind of complicated that this was before InuYasha came around. Yeah. But that's really I could say about it. But if you could hit the like button, you need to subscribe it. Although it got distributed by Miramax in North America, it did become a poor box office performance. Despite this, it only had 2.1 billion yen as opposed to $23.5 million in the Western world, and it only got $169.7 million. And the Aesop is whenever you try to save the environment from anything related to lightsabers, that's kind of like a typical Captain Planet meets Star Wars kind of like a Star Trek like concept to it. You know what they say? Look, you should live long and prosper. That's all I can really say about this one.